Hi, I'm Jared. I'm a technician at Emerald City Harley-Davidson here, and I want to talk to you a little bit about what a case service is. Most of my customers think a case service is just an oil change and a bike wash, and that is just a fraction of what a real case service is. The nice thing about bringing your motorcycle to me for a case service is that I get to inspect the bike for any problems that may arise farther down the road when you're riding it. And the last thing you want to happen is anything going wrong with your motorcycle when you're riding it down the street. So truly that's a big part of it, is to see if maybe I can preemptively catch any issues that would possibly put you in danger. So we can start with the oil change. We obviously will change the engine lubricant as well as the transmission lubricant and the primary lubricant as well as the oil filter. We usually recommend that you use synthetic lubricant, especially with the new Milwaukee 8s. It seems to be a little bit more agreeable with all of the moving parts, so on and so forth. So after the oil change, then there are certain aspects of the motorcycle that usually just take a quick visual inspection, but we want to make sure that everything is functioning before you get out there on the street. As far as, you know, the lights, brake lights, high beams, low beams, blinkers, so on and so forth. The radio controls if you have a touring bike, and miscellaneous lighting and switches and so on and so forth. Then I'll go ahead and pull the air cleaner cover off. I'll inspect your air cleaner to make sure that it's not dirty, and if you need a new one, I'll let you know. And then we'll move to the front of the motorcycle. We'll obviously set your tire pressure to whatever the specified PSI is. For a touring bike, it's 36 in the front and 40 in the rear. We'll also check the tread depth of your tire to make sure that you've got enough rubber when it really needs to meet the road. We'll also check the brake disc thickness and caliper thickness. There are specifications as far as what is acceptable when it comes to what the motor company thinks is acceptable. So we'll check all that stuff. We'll also go to the master cylinder. We'll pull the lid off. We'll test the fluid inside of it. Harley-Davidson recommends that you replace the fluid inside of the master cylinders every 2 years. The issue that we come across with the brake fluid is that it's hygroscopic, so it has a tendency to attract water. So we have a little tester to make sure that there isn't too much water in your brake fluid. We'll do that for the front brake and the rear brake as well. Then we will check your charging system. So your battery needs to maintain a voltage of 12.5 volts or higher in order for the motorcycle to run optimally. So we will check the static charge of your battery, and then we will also check the voltage output of your stator when the motorcycle is running, just to ensure that the battery is being fully charged, because the last thing you want to happen is to go to the bar and jump off your bike and come back out and not be able to start back up. So we check the static voltage, we check the charging voltage, then we go back to the motor and look for any intermittent leaks, seeping, gasket failures, and that's just a quick inspection with a flashlight. Kind of getting in there, making sure that everything looks nice and pretty and the oil is staying where it needs to stay. We'll move to the rear of the motorcycle. Again, we'll check the tire pressure, tread depth, brake pad thickness, brake disc thickness. I'll also check the deflection of your drive belt, which is this little rubber belt back here. It actually has, it will stretch over time, and if it becomes too loose, it could jump a tooth and cause you some problems again as you're going down the road. So we'll check on that guy. And then while I'm over here, I like to look at the tank and make sure that we're not leaking any fuel or anything like that. Taking a look at all the lines in the hoses, make sure that there's no cracks or anything else. And then again, inspecting for any gasket leaks on this side of the primary. And then after that, I will go ahead and grab my torque wrench and go around the motorcycle and torque what are called critical fasteners. There are more than 400 fasteners on this motorcycle, and Harley-Davidson, believe it or not, has a torque specification for almost all of them. So the critical fasteners are the big ones, obviously, that you want to have tight, because if they come loose, you're going to be in a world of trouble. Like the axle nut, the brake disc bolts, the caliper mounting bolts, so on and so forth. Even these little screws up here in the hand controls have torque specifications. We torque those. Again, floorboards getting torqued, making sure that everything's tight there. Mufflers, bag rails, again the rear axle, caliper bolts, disc mounting bolts, so on and so forth. Come to this side. Again with the floorboards, we hit the motor mounts, make sure that those are torqued, and it's just a very comprehensive, torquing sequence, if you will, just to ensure that nothing's going to come loose on you when you're going down the road. And then in the event that it is a touring motorcycle, I'll go ahead and check the coolant, run it up to temperature, make sure that the water pump is functioning correctly, and then finally I'll get my helmet on and take it out for a little test ride. Make sure that she's shifting good, throttle response is good, and the motorcycle is operating the way that it needs to be. So that's pretty much the end of the case service. Case services are normally kind of expensive, which is why people have a tendency to shy away from them. But as you can see, what I just walked you through really is, it's worth the money. At least the money is worth the peace of mind. Nice thing about that is that we are running our 12 days of Christmas sale right now, and you will be able to get $100 off a case service on the 17th, 21st, and 23rd, which is a pretty big savings. Now we also have a signature oil change for $49, which is also a special, and then you get a 50-point inspection with that for free, and that is happening on the 19th and the 23rd of December. So you could save yourself $1 and a little bit of peace of mind too if you come on down to Emerald City Harley-Davidson and get yourself a case service.